for the first time, I am the kickoff. I've never been kickoff on this show because I've never said anything worthy of being kicked off. But for the first time ever, I am the kickoff, and that's what you just heard, and that's how we kick off the show with the voice note. Today, it was me. Because what you've just heard now, I said that on the 6th of April? First week of April. No, Timmy. March, first week of March, yes. First week of March, I said that. But I've been saying that for a very long time. So today, it's the big one. It's the final. It's the biggest match played today anywhere in the world. There's Bundesliga, there's La Liga, but there's no match bigger than Manchester City versus Arsenal. Arsenal have been pretenders to the throne. They've been laying the ground waiting for City to come and take their sweet revenge. Kiss them and say thank you for keeping it warm. Do you disagree with me? We're going to go all the way to the UK. One of the best journalists in Europe and one of the most popular on social media, Ben Jacobs, a man that I'm pretty sure is either going to be on the way to the stadium or at the stadium already when we talk to him. He's going to be talking to us about that match. We'll build up to it. We'll take a look at the pros and the cons. But the big question is this match the decider? Is this match the decider? If Arsenal do not win today, is it over for them? Mind you, they still have to pay Brighton Hove. But if they don't win today, is it all over for them? Can we write the season off and start thinking about that second position comfort for them? Come on, Arsenal fans. You said you wanted me. Karkelabatla one by one. 086-000-2160. That's the number you can call us on. And of course, you can WhatsApp on 060-552-7303. That's not all we're doing though. At about 6:30, we're going to be speaking to Mazola Molefe. Mazola did a story that speaks to Sundowns. Rulani Mokwena, is he staying at Sundowns for the next season? Are there offers coming from outside that he's perhaps considering? We're going to be speaking to Mazola Molefe, who spoke to the man that handles Rulani Mokwena's business. And I'm talking about, of course, his agent, who says, yes, what you're saying, there's truth to it. So we'll go to Mazola Molefe at about 5:30. He'll tell us exactly his thoughts and what he's gathered from doing deep research into Rulani Mokwena and his stay at Sundowns. Exactly 10 after the hour, 6 about to go 11. Thank you so much for the touchdown. They do it again tomorrow between 3 and 6. It's a big day tomorrow, public holiday. You want to stay at home, we'll keep it techniques, we beg a strategy, we keep it khona basana. Bege lapha estrateni uvula touch till we come up at 6 o'clock. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's all over, guys. If you're an Arsenal fan, don't watch I'm glad you don't have to go to work tomorrow. I'm actually so happy that fate worked out that you don't have to go to work tomorrow, because Arsenal tonight will Arsenal.
The Metro FM Music Award tickets are now available at CompuTicket and all CompuTicket outlets. Get yours now and be there to experience South Africa's biggest awards ceremony at Mbombela Stadium on the 6th of May. Tickets start from 150 rands. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. MMA 23. Black is back.
At Burger King, we call our new combos king-size combos. Why? Because Burger King's king-size combos are fit for a king and really big. Get our full-size, 100% pure beef everyday items just at a better price. So if you're really hungry, we have king-size combos perfect for you, or you and friends, or even you and the whole family. Save up to 70 Rand and get more food, more taste, and more value. Try the new king-size combos only at Burger King.
2023 is the year that keeps on flexing with the Caltex Big Flex promotion. Stand a chance to win one of 10 Fuel for a Year vouchers by filling up with 400 Rand or more at any Caltex forecourt. Win your share of Fuel for a Year and hit the road anytime you want. Thrive while you drive with Caltex Big Flex. Promotion runs until 17 May. T's and C's apply. Caltex, it's how you get there.
So vele, the drama in the DStv Premiership is here to stay. Royal AM yafukuza, looking for maximum points to secure a position in the top 8. But you think Cape Town City will allow this? They want to settle in the top 4. Twitli Twata tackles the citizens. This is Ibola Letu. Drama. Big. Royal AM battles it out with Cape Town City on Saturday, 29 April at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC1 and SABC radio stations. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
Hey, before we begin the show, let's touch base with our friends at Betway.
Share all the sporting thrills with Betway. Visit betway.co.za. Bet your way with Betway.
Only one game in the headlines tonight. It's Manchester City hosting Arsenal. Tonight, of course, it's a must-win for both sides. Check out Betway's boosted odds. That means more money if you bet wins. More info at betway.co.za.
Bet on your favorite teams and leagues online, anytime and anywhere with Betway. Visit betway.co.za.
Well, let's get into it. We're speaking about the big game tonight. It's Arsenal taking on Manchester City. Both coaches sat down for pre-match and leveling it up to say what are their thoughts. Arteta seems to think that this game will not settle the title. So here is Arteta.
But we knew from the beginning, and that City was the team to beat probably with Liverpool, because what those teams have done in the last 6-7 years, and they fully deserve that credit and to be at the top. And we were the ones that wanted to be closing that gap. We are toe-to-toe with them. We knew that we had to go to the Etihad. We know that after that they're going to have another 5 very difficult games. So that game is going to be really important. Is it going to define the season? The answer is no.
He says it's not going to define the season, and he's always expected that it would be Manchester City that would be the difference between them and winning it. Well, Pep Guardiola, he says winning the title is easy.
First league title was 100 points. It was not difficult. As a manager, we won. In Bayern Munich, we won in February, and in Barcelona, we won 4 games in advance as well. So it's easy.
Hey, it's 15 after the R6. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to properly give this game what it needs, I have to go to the best in the business, the best in the industry. He's been kind enough over the time to come to us and talk to us whenever we've needed him. Ben Jacobs joins us. He's at CBS Sports Golazo journalist, FWA and NUJ member as well. Unfortunately supports a team to whom we were not going to be talking about this evening. Follow him on Twitter at Ben Jacobs. It's simply at Jacobs Ben. I follow him, and trust me, that's how I know all I know. Ben, thank you so much for talking to us, and it's always great having you.
Good evening. Great to be here. A big evening ahead.
Gee whiz, I don't even know where to begin with this one. I'm listening to what the two coaches have had to say. A very different stance from them. But let me ask you, how big is this game in terms of deciding the title?
Well, I think it's massive because Manchester City don't look like dropping too many points, and Arsenal are obviously wobbling and have surrendered in games points that we didn't expect them to, particularly last time out against Southampton and also in that draw against West Ham. I think against Liverpool it felt like quite a welcome point in the end because Liverpool made such a late push. But in the other 2 games that I mentioned, Arsenal will feel that they had opportunities to extend their lead, and by not doing so, Manchester City are now 5 behind, but with 2 games in hand. So if they win and narrow the gap to 2 points and have 2 games in hand, then that's the title race over for me, because Manchester City actually have breathing space. If Arsenal get a point, it becomes a bit more interesting, and obviously if Arsenal win, even though Manchester City will still have those 2 games in hand, it's a momentum shifter again. Arsenal have a dreadful record though at Manchester City, and that is ultimately why Manchester City are the favourites for this game. So I think we can look at this in a variety of different ways, but one thing that most will probably agree upon is if Manchester City win the game and thus get within 2 points and still 2 games in hand, then I think the title is only heading to one place, and that's the blue half of Manchester.
And I hear all of that, and you know, there's the thinking from Arteta and what he's saying that says there's still 6 games to play for them. That's a lot of games. To expect that they're not going to drop a single point is a little bit ridiculous from his point of view. He's still got hopes and harboring that if they don't get the job done, then you know they've got a couple of games to look forward to. And I look at the games that they've got to play versus the games that Manchester City have got to play. Who do you think has got a better running towards the end?
Well, definitely Manchester City. And I think, again, if Manchester City win, they can drop points and still win the Premier League title. And that's the point, because they'll be 2 points behind Arsenal and they'll have 2 games in hand, which means they could lose a game and still have things in their control. I worry for Arsenal because if they lose to Manchester City, it continues this wobble, this run of poor form. They beat Leeds 4-1. It was emphatic. They beat Palace 4-1. It was emphatic. If we go back a little bit further and think back to that amazing victory over Bournemouth, and even the one against Aston Villa as well back in February, it just looked like Arsenal had the mental steel to get over the line. And then since they've lost William Saliba, it's been apparent that they're not keeping clean sheets. And now they have to go to Manchester City and I think at least get something from the game to stay in the title race. But then they've got to play Chelsea, who haven't had a great season, but still on paper, not an easy game. And it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea, with nothing to play for, really raised their game, playing in a London derby and trying to deny Arsenal the title. And then the big wobble and worry that I think that Arsenal are going to have is away at Newcastle United, and it's going to be very tough for them to get maximum points there. And then I look at Manchester City's fixtures, and I think, again, if they win tonight, then they can actually afford to drop some points, which is the first key thing in all of this, because it just alleviates a little bit of the pressure, and Arsenal are going to have to watch those games in hand and kind of pray for some kind of miracle. And beyond that, you start to see the run-in, which is congested because they've got to make up the games in hand. But away at Fulham, I don't think Manchester City drop anything. Home to West Ham, I don't think they drop anything. And home to Leeds, I don't think they drop anything. So the big question marks for Manchester City are probably the games in between or just after the massive Champions League tie against Real Madrid. Away at Everton won't be easy. And then after they've played Real Madrid, they've got to play Chelsea and then go away at Brighton and away at Brentford on the final game of the season. So those last 3 games for Manchester City are definitely the trickiest part of their run. Firstly, because they may have to make some changes off the back of that second leg against Real Madrid. Second of all, because again, Chelsea's never easy, and Brighton away, they've had a wonderful season. Brentford away is not routine either. But by that stage, they just might have that ability to actually drop points. And if that's the case, then it won't be a straight race whereby Manchester City have to be perfect in some way in order to protect their position. They can actually have that comfort zone, and once you know that, and you've barely lost a game all season, it changes things mentally, and also it may allow Pep Guardiola to rotate his squad a little bit. So I think the mission is clear from Arsenal's perspective. Mikel Arteta is never going to say the title race is over. That's not the messaging and the wording with 6 games for Arsenal left in the season. But ultimately, Arsenal have to get something from this game. Otherwise, Manchester City aren't just favourites for the Premier League title. It becomes almost a procession.
We'll get into where did it all go wrong for Arsenal. Was it that 3-1 drubbing at home to Manchester City? Was it the last 3 draws that have seen them come back spectacularly in most of those games, but they haven't been able to get a win in their last 3? Where did it all go wrong? And of course, we'll do a versus. When you take a look at the players, there's 2 City players in that Arsenal team that can change things around. They know the Guardiola way. But the coaches, surely chalk and cheese there. Class, somebody who knows how to win, who's won it so many levels and so many different ways, versus, well, once upon a time, protege, who's won, yes, but what can he really do against Pep?
At Roman's Pizza, for only $20 each, get the all-new dessert pie in 2 flavors, apple cinnamon or Belgian chocolate. That's right, only $20 each for the scrumptious apple cinnamon or delectable Belgian chocolate. Don't miss out. Try the new dessert pie. Download our app or order online. Roman's Pizza. Best pizza, best value.
2023 is the year that keeps on flexing with the Caltex Big Flex promotion. Stand a chance to win one of 10 Fuel for a Year vouchers by filling up with 400 Rand or more at any Caltex forecourt. Win your share of Fuel for a Year and hit the road anytime you want. Thrive while you drive with Caltex Big Flex. Promotion runs until 17 May. T's and C's apply. Caltex, it's how you get there.
It's a ladies' afternoon outing in the Hollywood Bet Super League. Reigning champs Mamelodi Sundowns ladies face Durban ladies. Masandawana ladies believe the Queen's throne belongs to them, while Durban ladies want victory to demonstrate that eThekwini rocks. This is the Hollywood Best Super League. Be part of the action. Mamelodi Sundowns ladies battles it out with Durban ladies on Sunday 30 April at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC 1 and SABC Plus. Hashtag We Love It Here. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay.
Lawrence Kloetsoat chairman, the chairman of the team whose players were kidnapped.
We went to the disciplinary hearing for Mr. Mataboka to be expelled from football and banned, his team to be expelled from football and banned, as well as his coach.
We have also on the line the lawyer representing Isaac Mataboka.
It's wrong for them to say Luca ball controllers must be expelled.
You must understand that Tshego has a motive because Tshego is the owner of Luca ball controllers.
Yeah.
So it is important.
I thought the chairman was.
He has actually sold the status, but he's still involved in the team.
I want to take these calls. Let's go to Yanga out in Cape Town. Yanga.
This story is bizarre, Now only to find out that the very same lawyer is a team owner.
Imagine.
Weekdays, 6 till 7 p.m. on Metro FM.
Mazola Malefe will be joining us after this conversation with Ben to speak all things Mamelodi Sundowns. What's going on with coach Rulani Mokoena? Is he staying a Downs coach for the next season? Of course, remember, we are live on Facebook as well as on Twitter later on. We'll be chopping it up and putting it up on Instagram as well as on our TikTok. Ben Jacobs joins us for this conversation. Ben, I can't begin to compare the two coaches, but perhaps we can look at the two squads. I've often been asking the question, does Arsenal have enough pedigree of winners that know what it takes to win at the very last moments, that can lift the rest of the team and say, let's go for it? We know Manchester City does.
They don't, not compared to Manchester City, but when you build a new project and you focus on youth and you ultimately implement a new culture under a young manager, it takes time. And let's not forget, 18 months ago, Mikel Arteta was under pressure. Last season, Arsenal missed out on Champions League football and Spurs got the spot. So they've arguably moved faster than expected, and it's very easy, therefore, to forget that this is an evolving project. And as a result, we shouldn't be hypercritical that there's less experience compared to Manchester City, because if Arsenal get over the line, and even if they don't, it's the same core squad that's going to be there for potentially 4 or 5 seasons. And that's really the point of tying down a player like Martinelli or Saka, who's expected to formally sign at the end of the season. William Saliba is another one, injured unfortunately, but he'll be part of Arsenal's plans if he signs for a long time to come. And there is experience in there as well. I think that Odegaard has led by example. Xhaka has had a good season as well. Zinchenko and Jesus were obviously at Manchester City. So there's a blend, but you don't get the experience of ultimately knowing how to win the Premier League unless you've won the Premier League before. And if you're a Premier League winner at Manchester City, a lot of those core players would stay at Manchester City. So it's not that easy to find the proven Premier League winner when you are evolving rather than established. And I think, therefore, Arsenal are going to have to learn down the stretch what it takes, because these players compared to Manchester City haven't been there before. But I think what's disappointing about Arsenal is that usually if it was a tight race and there were 6 games to go, you'd say maybe that lack of experience would be the factor that hands the title back to Manchester City. But Arsenal's wobble has come when they've actually had a healthy lead and a little bit earlier than just the final few games. And this is where I think Mikel Arteta will be a little bit disappointed, because the whole point of the victories that were dramatic against Bournemouth and before that Aston Villa were meant to remind the squad that they had that character, they had that ability to come through adversity, and they did have depth. You think about that Reece Nelson goal, he's not really a player that would have expected to get that many minutes or be part of Mikel Arteta's plans, but on he came, he scored a big goal. So all of that pointed towards the narrative that Arsenal could win big games, and they could either do what they did at Tottenham, which was win comfortably, or they could do what they did against Bournemouth, which was come back into a game very late on. Since then, we've seen this decline, and they obviously went out to Sporting on penalties in the Europa League. They were disappointing against West Ham. They were not able to protect their lead against Liverpool. So now what they have to do is use the experience from Southampton, even though it was a highly disappointing result, to bring into the Manchester City game. And what I would say is 3-3 against Southampton, in a perverse way, is quite beneficial because of the manner in which they were able to score two
What a
late
game.
goals.
My game of the season,
result.
by the way, my game of the season so far. The way that Arsenal fought back for that 3-3. And I mean, give them another 10 seconds and it's 4-3. Great game, that.
Phenomenal game, but a terrible result for Arsenal because it puts the title in Manchester City's hands. So what they have to do is take the Odegaard goal and the Saka goal in the final 2 minutes of the game and say, this is what we can do. We can score twice in quick succession. We're never out of the game in terms of defeat. And they now have to look at themselves in the mirror and find a way to either shut Manchester City out, or if they fall behind to Manchester City this evening, come back from adversity. So it's a big test. It's a place where they don't have a good record. Pep Guardiola's always really got the better at the Etihad Stadium over Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. So they need to first and foremost make sure they don't lose the game, but also not get sucked into that bigger picture. What's gone has gone. So the wobble that they've had is behind them now. It's a 5-point lead on paper. Yes, Manchester City got 2 games in hand. Arsenal need to make sure they don't go into the game too over-emotional, but also that they don't overly change their style, because if they come to the Etihad Stadium and give Manchester City too much respect, which sounds strange to say because they're the league leaders, but a lot of teams do this, even top teams. You come to the Etihad and you're conservative, you sit deeper, you change your style or tactics. If Arsenal do any of that, they're going to be roundly beaten. If they play their own game and start well, then they might just pull off what many people are saying is an upset. And that's what sort of, in my own mind, makes me laugh a little bit. It shouldn't be an upset. Yes, Manchester City have been sublime recently, but Arsenal are the league leaders. They've only lost 3 goals all season. They've scored 77 goals. So if they start well and score first in the game, Manchester City have got an equally big task on their hands.
The Zinchenko as well as Gabriel Jesus effect. They're going back to Man City. They're playing Man City at a place they used to call home. How big is this for them? And could they perhaps be the nod that the teams need, Arsenal needs anyway, to pull them through? How big is this game for the two of them?
It's huge for both of them to show leadership and also to offer in the build-up a little bit of insight to others as to what the environment will be like. People say the Etihad isn't the most intimidating of stadiums to go to, but I can guarantee it will be this evening because everyone knows it's one of the biggest ever games in Premier League history, and as a consequence, the atmosphere is going to feel like a cup final. And I think for both players, they'll feel that they've got a point to prove in many ways. With Zinchenko, Manchester City didn't necessarily want him to leave, so I don't think that he'll feel shunned as if he wasn't part of Pep Guardiola's plans. And with Gabriel Jesus, it was obvious that he was not going to get as much game time because of the arrivals of Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez. So by being down the pecking order, Gabriel Jesus is perhaps in his own mind feeling like he's got something to prove. And even more so because he's back from injury, he's fit and firing, and he's looking to recapture the early part of his season form. And if he does that, then again, Arsenal will stand a very good chance of getting something from the game. But I think that Zinchenko is almost more important because I fully believe Arsenal have got goal scorers. Saka can weigh in, Odegaard can weigh in, Martinelli can weigh in. There's a number of players that are already in double figures in the Premier League for Arsenal. So if they get a chance anywhere on the field in the final third, there are a range of confident players that can take it. But the key thing for Arsenal this evening is going to be defensively. Clean sheets have suddenly become few and far between. So Aaron Ramsdale is going to play a big part. Of course, he made that horrendous early error against Southampton, and had he not done so, the game may have taken on a much more comfortable complexion as far as Arsenal were concerned. And then with Saliba out, Rob Holding has another big role to play as well. And I think that Ben White is going to have to balance being disciplined but also trying to get forwards as well. So for Arsenal, it's trying to make it a tighter game. It's trying to stay rigid, and then when they get their chances, be as clinical as they can. And whether that's Jesus, Martinelli, Saka or Odegaard, Xhaka as well. He's got to pass a late fitness test, but he'll be very important if he's in the starting 11 as well. But the one thing that Arsenal cannot do is give away cheap goals.
Speaking of goals, the last time around it was KDB, Grealish and Haaland that scored the goals. All three of them are in better form now than they were then. Can they be stopped? I mean, the way you look at it, Grealish, who didn't have the best of starts when he got to Man City, at the moment he seems to have hit some sort of green patch. He seems to be enjoying the game a lot more.
Absolutely. He's been fantastic, hasn't he, over the last few games, and that comes with game time and familiarity with your teammates. But Grealish was not the same player in his early spell at Manchester City as he is now. And it reminds me actually of Riyad Mahrez, but with Leicester. And if you think back to when Leicester won the Premier League in 2015-2016, Mahrez, along with Jamie Vardy, were both phenomenal, and he found a way to find assists and goals with ease. But if you look at the previous season, Riyad Mahrez still really hadn't found any consistency, and he certainly wasn't weighing in with goals, and that's why Leicester were in part fighting relegation. And Jack Grealish is very similar in many ways. He began at Manchester City inconsistent, not really adapting to the style and the demands of Pep Guardiola, and now he kind of picks himself, and that's credit when you consider how much competition there is in his position. And like you say, Erling Haaland and KDB have always been at that elite level, and they have that know-how during big games to not only put away their chances but make others better around them. And I think that's what's impressed me the most about Erling Haaland recently. Perhaps when he first came to Manchester City, everyone was focused on the goals and the hat-tricks, but if you look closely at his game now, he's only starting at small steps, but starting to do a little bit more in terms of raising the standards of others around him. And when you look at Pep Guardiola's style and how Erling Haaland plays, they're not on paper, tactically, a match made in heaven. So I think to begin with, everyone in that fluid Manchester City team was adapting to feeding Haaland, and he was obviously staying in the box and getting a number of goals. And as a result, everybody felt like it was job done. But to play at Manchester City, you've also got to move more off the ball. You've got to drop deeper at times. You've got to be aware of how to press from the front. And to an extent, you have to start laying on assists for others as well. And although that's not Haaland's primary role in the team, he seems to be more aware of his surroundings. He seems to be a little bit more selfless, and he seems to have developed bonds off the field as well. He's got a very close friendship with Grealish, for example, that are leading towards that unity that you need to get over the line and win a Premier League title. And each of these things that I outline are not in place of the goals, they're not in place of what Haaland does, but it's marginal gains when you are trying to win a Premier League title, because it's so tight. And much like when Manchester City were up against Liverpool for the Premier League title, it was a case of needing 95 to 100 points in order to actually get in a position where you were going to win the league. So you can't afford to slip up, and every tiny little thing matters. So I think what we've been doing is we've been focusing on KDB because he's the engine room, he's the thing that makes Manchester City tick. We've been focusing on Grealish because he's a ball carrier, he can assist and score. And we've been focusing on Haaland because he's rounding everything off. But if you actually take them as a three, and you can throw players like Foden or Mahrez into the mix across the season as well, there's just that chemistry and know-how and that innate understanding, which obviously makes Manchester City even more dangerous.
So here's my bit, Ben. Arsenal, after the last year, won't be able to pull themselves back, and Brighton, Newcastle, they're going to lose those matches further, lowering their coffin, if we can speak and say that. But more than anything, I just think they don't have it in them to win. Arsenal tonight will do what Arsenal have done over the years. They will Arsenal. Thank you so much. Are you going to be going through to the game? Are you going to be watching it live or on the telly like the rest of us?
No, I'm down there, and I will head into the stadium shortly. And I don't know, I want to make it a fence for Arsenal in many ways. I appreciate what you're saying, and I think that everyone thinks it's pre-written that Manchester City will get the results, but Arsenal ultimately are young, they're hungry, and they can be devastating at times. And people thought they would slip up away at Tottenham, and they won comfortably by 2-0. People thought that they would end up losing that Villa game, and they scored late. People thought that they'd had it against Southampton and it would be a loss rather than a draw, and it feels like a poor points. But who knows, at the end of the season, when you add it all up, those late goals might matter as well. So one thing I'd say about Arsenal is, win or lose, what we're seeing is character, what we're seeing is late drama, what we're seeing is players that are capable of scoring, which means that I don't think Manchester City are going to keep a clean sheet, but I don't think Arsenal will either. So my prediction is we're going to get a high-scoring draw, a kind of 2-2, perhaps where Manchester City score first and then Arsenal have to be more expansive, and that gives them the confidence to play their own game, which sounds like a strange thing to say because the last thing Mikel Arteta will want to do is go behind in the game. But if they're forced out of discipline at some point, it might just mean that they play a little bit more fluid. And I also think in many ways, away at Manchester City and with a 5-point advantage, if Arsenal can not see themselves as underdogs, if they can be fluid, if they can be fast, if they can be direct, if they can be clinical, if they cannot change just because they're away at Manchester City, then they do stand a very good chance of scoring a couple of goals. And if they do that, then it's game on for me. And as I say, my prediction is 2-2. And if Arsenal come away with a point, people will say perhaps they had to win, otherwise they've bottled it. And as a consequence, Manchester City are going to be the Premier League champions. And part of that is because of the games that you mentioned that Arsenal have still got to play. But I think if they walk away with a point and protect a 5-point lead, even with Manchester City having 2 games in hand, Mikel Arteta will not be devastated by that. The title for me is not over unless Arsenal get beat. So if it finishes 2-2, there's a fair chance that both managers will be relatively content with that.
Ben Jacobs, really appreciate it. Let me not hold you up any longer. I know you need to get through to the stadium. Enjoy the city of Manchester. And you know what? Wear red while you're there, just for me. I appreciate you.
All the best and enjoy the game.
Thank you so much. That's Ben Jacobs. Follow him on Twitter. He is just outside the stadium. He went there just so he could talk to us just before the big game there. I'll leave it on to you now. But firstly, before I take your calls at 18:45, let's check in with Mazola after this.
The Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Black is back. The nominees for Best Female Artist are Nomfundo Mo, Makadzi, Simi, Brenda Mtamo, Cher. To vote, dial *120 *45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you're at.
When choosing your next Audi, have peace of mind knowing that the future value of your latest investment is guaranteed. Drive the elegant A4 sedan from 9,999 per month at a fixed interest rate with Audi Assured. Audi Assured is a progressive finance solution designed to be as flexible as you are. With no risk to you, you can now drive the latest Audi more often. At the end of your contract term, you can choose to retain, return, or trade in your vehicle. Contact your nearest Audi dealer to find out more. Audi Assured. Finance your Audi with tomorrow in mind. Offer subject to approval from Audi Financial Services, a division of VW Financial Services Pty Ltd, an authorized FS and registered CP. T's and C's apply. Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
Marumo Gallants and Pyramids FC have 90 more minutes to fight for a spot in the CAF Confederations Cup semi-finals. There is more tension and drama between Bahlabane Bantwa and the heirs of the Pharaohs. This is the CAF Confederations Cup second leg quarter-final encounter. Will Pyramids FC board their flight to Egypt with joy? Or does Marumo Gallants have a better plan to stop them? Catch the CAF Confederations Cup second leg quarter-final clash, Marumo Gallants versus Pyramids FC, on Sunday 30 April at 17:50. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. OpenV 124. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
2023 is the year that keeps on flexing with the Caltex Big Flex promotion. Stand a chance to win one of 10 Fuel for a Year vouchers by filling up with 400 Rand or more at any Caltex forecourt. Win your share of Fuel for a Year and hit the road anytime you want. Thrive while you drive with Caltex Big Flex. Promotion runs until 17 May. T's and C's apply. Caltex, it's how you get there.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile.
Okay,
I've been saying this for so long that at some point, Arsenal, they'll get to a point where Arsenal do what Arsenal do and they'll Arsenal. All the Arsenal fans, Kilabata one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter Steenbok is on the line.
Oh, he's gonna finish you,
Please, Walter. Arsenal will Arsenal.
If Arsenal do win this league, you need to do something very crazy.
I have not shaved my beard since November. If Arsenal win, I will shave my beard. I will go
but there's nothing to shave. You must come up with something better. There's
it's
nothing
fine.
to
I'll
shave.
think about it, Walter. I'll do something big.
Andile, how could you be discussing Arsenal with Chelsea supporters in the studio?
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go.
It's 6:43 in 2 minutes. Mazola's only got 2 minutes. We need to take your calls because, from what Ben Jacobs is saying, he's given so many Arsenal fans some hope here. But I don't think there's hope to be given. I think tonight you're going to face a drubbing worse than the 3-1 you faced when you played Man United and Man City. It could be a combination of both, 5 goals at least. But hey, what do I know? Let's go to Mazola Molefe with a little bit of local news now in the DSTV Premiership. Mazola, thank you so much for talking to us. Welcome to the show. As per usual, I didn't think we'd have to speak about Rulane Mokwena and whether, he's going to sign or stay on at Sundowns or not. But seemingly it's a conversation to be had.
Yeah, a lot of people had put this on the back burner, thinking that all is hunky-dory. But the reality is that, as we know, the technical staff at Mamelodi Sundowns have been there since 2020. And all of them, Coach Mangoba, Coach Steve, Coach Rulani, their contracts are soon going to come to an end. And, talks have started now to renew those contracts. And we finally got to have an opportunity to speak to the coach's agent, that's Coach Rulani, Steve Kapilushnik. And he confirms that, his phone has been ringing nonstop. He's got offers from Morocco. He's got offers from Egypt as well as Tanzania with regards to the coach. But the coach has made it clear that he wants to renew his contract at Mamelodi Sundowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think, seriously, I knew that perhaps we'd have to have this conversation regarding Mangoba and Steve, perhaps, but definitely Mangoba, perhaps Steve, but I didn't think Coach Rulani. So he's keen to stay at Sundowns depending on the offer. But I wonder, does that have anything to do with money? If he's offered more money, and we know that some of these leagues on the continent do offer a lot of money, are they entertaining and listening to these offers? Are they considering them whilst waiting to hear what's going on at Sundowns, or are they just turning them down?
Steve Kapelisnik, it's a good question. I did also put it to the agent. He says he's got to do his job. His job is to take the offers back to his client, to his Coach Rulani, and Coach Rulani has made it clear that first priority is Mamelodi Sundowns. If they can't find each other, then subsequent to that, they can entertain other offers on the continent or locally, if that's the case. And he does go on to say, Andile, as well, that the coach needs to be the boss in this conversation about a new contract. That a lot of things have changed at Sundowns recently, but the coach should be given a level of trust to make some big decisions, and that includes his backroom staff as well.
So this could be speaking about the TD, of course, to say who then has power. The coach then might be saying, hey, if I'm staying on, I ultimately need to have some power.
I think Klopi Motsepe, who's taken over from his father Patrice Motsepe, has made it clear that Fleming Berg has got a lot of leeway and power in terms of how the club is moving forward. And even before the restructure, Coach Rulani and Coach Mangoba and Coach Steve have all been in the public space admitting that they have to work closely with the sporting director, and as such, I would imagine, and this is me putting words in the agent's mouth, I imagine when he says with the club's approval, he is referring to the role that's been given to Fleming Berg, because he holds all the cards, but the coach must make some recommendations, and there should be a level of trust between the two.
Jeez, Mazola, breaking story. Where can people read more about this? We don't have the time to discuss it here.
It's on sabcsport.com.
And we'll take it on to Sport at 10 this evening as well. Mazola Molefe, thank you so much. Always appreciate you.
Pleasure. Andile, Arsenal.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying it for so long on this show that I'm not going to say it today. I want the callers to say it.
Say it.
No, they must say it because
Should
they
I
attacked
say it
me.
for you?
No, Mazola, they attacked me. They are 4 points clear now, and they play Man City next game.
And City have 2 games in hand.
This is on Wednesday.
City have 2 games in hand.
2 games in hand. City beat Arsenal. It's 1 point with a game in hand.
Hashtag Arsenaling.
There you go.
Yeah, we gon' get them. Get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303.
Afternoon, Andile. It's Young and Rose playing in Cape Town. An Orlando Pirates supporter and an Arsenal supporter. Look, Andile, well, this game for today, I mean, it's I don't know, but I think we got this on the back. Look, I think we must just try to avoid a lose. We can deal with a draw, but I think we're gonna win today. Thank you so much, and to all our Arsenal supporters, let's rally behind our team. We got this in the back.
Hey, Lipara, Zulugana in Durban, Ipakania. Today, I'm not a fan of Arsenal, I'm not a fan of Man City, but today I want at least Arsenal to get a draw. I mean, I so wish for them to win this league. I mean, I know it's not possible now, but I so wish. And they'll be singing like this. Oh, always believe in your soul. Oh, Zincheko. Oh, that's a song they sing when Zincheko is doing wonders. Always believe in your soul. You are indescribable, Zinchenko. Para. I'm a Liverpool fan in England, but then today, because I wish.
Oh, man.
Tabiso from Bloemfontein. Mikel Arteta, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus. They won all the titles in English Premier League at Manchester City. Those are only 3 players that I know. They are winners. Mikel Arteta is an assistant to Pep Guardiola. But for me personally, I'm a Manchester City fan. Manchester City will win today's game. Manchester City will go and win the title come the end of the season. My top 4 for the top of the season, it will be Manchester City, Arsenal, Newcastle or Manchester United at position 3. And those are the only teams for Liverpool. Forget about Champions League this season. We'll see them next season. Tabiso from Plum A.
Thank you.
Good evening, Andile, your team and my fellow listeners. You make it sound like the league is already being won, but I don't blame you. Man City is still going to drop points as well. The great commentator, Clement Manyapelo said, football is not mathematics, it has got no therefore. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Good luck to both teams. I'll be watching live from the north of the country, live and direct.
All right, it's time we take your calls now. It's over. Come to me. Tell me. You heard what Ben Jacobs had to say. 086-000-2160. We take a quick break. When we come back, it's all over to you. Just one here. Alman Mohlala on Twitter saying, what about the 2 cows playing each other today? Chelsea and Tottenham. No one cares. No one cares tonight.
Call the Metro FM live studio. 0860-002-160.
Win your share of 200,000 Rand with Auto Pedigree when you buy a 2021 Kia Picanto 1-litre Street or a 2019 BMW 320i before 31 May 2023. You get up to 50,000 Rand deal assistance to structure your winning deal. Winners will be announced on the 9th of June 2023. Visit autopedigree.co.za or any of our branches countrywide for more information. Auto Pedigree, because you deserve a great deal. T's and C's apply.
Attention all caregivers of children. Are you and your children's vaccinations up to date? Vaccinations can prevent serious diseases and prevent hospital stays. Protect your little ones by getting them vaccinated. Don't wait until it's too late. Talk to your healthcare provider today about getting your child vaccinated against serious childhood diseases. Because health matters. This message is brought to you by Sanofi and the National Department of Health.
Al Ahly dictated terms over Raja Athletic Club with a 2-0 win in the CAF Champions League first leg quarter-final. This is the road to the CAF Champions League semi-final. The Green Eagles can fly, but how high? Meanwhile, the Red Devils of Egypt can smell the semis. Catch the CAF Champions League second leg quarterfinal battle. Raja Casablanca versus Al Ahly this Saturday, 29 April at 8 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on TTT Channel 4. OpenView 124, also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
Call the Metro FM live studio 0860 002 160.
It's 6:52. It's over to you now. Let's do it. I'm waiting for you. Let's start. Who do we have there? All the way, Jason, I think it is. Jason and Benoni, you there?
Yes, I'm here, ma.
Talk to me.
There's no way that league is going to be over today.
Hey, man, who do you support?
Arsenal.
Of course. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
No, we're taking it tonight, the 3 points. Then it's going to go down to the wire. No, we can bet me and you.
No. It's fine. I'll hear you out. I mean, I don't have the money to bet, but I'll hear you out. I'm not a betting man. How do you win this game tonight?
No, I'm winning it 2-1.
2-1?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I hope that tomorrow you're still available to take calls, yeah?
I'll call you back.
I know it's a public holiday, but tomorrow at 6 o'clock, get on the phone. Don't be scared.
I'll call you back.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go to Piti Moloto out in Pretoria. Piti.
Hi, how are you, Andile?
But go for it.
Yeah, man, I'm not an Arsenal fan, to be honest. I'm a Chelsea fan and Orlando Pirates.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but of course, the season was too bad for us. But it's going to be serious injustice if Arsenal doesn't take this one. I mean, not to win the league, so to say. I think they will win this one 1-0.
They're going to beat Manchester City.
I'm sure about it. I know Arteta has got a plan. That was where I mean,
Can I tell you what Can I tell you what Arteta's problem is?
Yeah.
Where did he learn his plan from?
I know.
Daniel San has never beaten Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, they've been consistent throughout the season. I mean, it will be serious injustice if they don't win this title.
They haven't won a game in 3 games. They drew 3-3 against Southampton.
But look, with only 2 minutes to go there, they scored 2 goals and even hit the post on the last minute.
Versus Southampton.
Yeah.
Do you know what number Southampton are?
I know. They're relegated.
They're number 20. They're gone. They're done.
You know, football, as somebody said earlier on, has got not therefore.
I'm not therefore.
Therefore, we're useless. They still fight, these players. You understand what I'm saying?
All right. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, man. We welcome all of you. Thank you so much. Join us every day. Let's go to Caleb. 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 Oh, terribly sorry there, Caleb, for that one there. It always happens, of course, with the Lions as far as that's concerned. Can we go to David in Egurleni? Okay, let's go to David in Egurleni. David, I heard you there for a second. You there? Timmy, what's going on? Oh, Timmy's still trying to get the lines working, though. David is out Egurleni. We're going to go to him in just a bit. But if you want to talk to us, we've got about 4 minutes. We can take as many as possible on 086 000 2160. It's the big one today. Koketo is out in Pretoria. Koketo. KK. KK, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Talk to me, my man.
Sure. I mean, Mr. Daniel San has never beaten Mr. Miyagi. That's a fact. That's a fact.
But maybe tonight.
Arsenal is good, I admit. But the past 3 games was horrible. The past 3 days past 3 games was horrible. And I understand that they drew against Southampton. Southampton has been beating Man United for so long. Southampton had a good team for now. But
Why are you being personal?
This is Pep we're talking about.
So what do you think is going to happen tonight?
I think it's pretty much simple. A draw. That's the best thing. If not a draw, it's Man City.
No, but a draw still gives Arsenal an advantage.
Then Man City then. But then either way, draw or Man City, there is no way Arsenal is going to beat Pep. No way. No way in the history, nor the future will Arsenal beat Manchester City in this kind of situation.
Under Pep Guardiola in particular.
Especially with Mr. Miyagi up there. There is no way.
Koketa out in Pretoria, also speaking to us for the first time. I remember he's not one of us, but thank you so much, Koketa. I really do appreciate it. Let's go to some of your voice notes as well as we try and perhaps sort out these calls. But give us a call. We can take one more. I'd love to. 086-000-2160. Arsenal this evening playing Man City. It's a huge game.
Good evening, Andile, your team and my fellow listeners. You make it sound like the leaky.
What happened?
Mr. Andile. Mara Mr. Andile ape ka mkhomo na wa re presella mana wa re o thibeletse khoneng wa re hatella o o tshwarisa di high blood bona man wa tseba nna ne ke kopa ro rapedise bro ka nna khapo re batla re kopa pela modimo e re thuse please help us Andile. We really need that. Honestly speaking, Arsenal has been long. I understand everyone over Manchester United. I mean Manchester City to win it, but please, Marata win. Anyway,
Timmy, let's take one more.
It's fine. Yeah, get stress. Go through from
Andile, tonight is a tough one. Hey, it's a tough one. Yeah, 3 weeks ago we were saying that it's for Arsenal to lose the league. Now it's changing. It is on Man City's hand. But even if they win tonight, Man City, it's not the end of the league. They can drop some points.
Aye.
Let's wait and see. Kusibo from Island and Mtanzan.
Kusibo. But you're in dreamland. Let's go to Lunga. Lunga's out in Roodepoort. Lunga, you're the last one. Talk to me.
Good day, Andy. Without a waste of time, I'm an Arsenal supporter, my brother.
But
like you don't wanna find yourself supporting a team with doubts and all that, more especially in this time of the season, bro. Like the way they've been playing.
You've given up, boy.
No, it's not like. No, Kenya today. I'm gonna give up on the league, but not with Man City, bro. Like no way. I don't know, but Arsenal win again. It is what it is, but no way.
Are you gonna watch the game?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna watch the game.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry for your pillow. It's gonna be very wet tonight.
I mean, I'm crying. Makui Chiefs ne Arsenal.
Yo.
Man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, Lunga, there's nothing like football to toughen your heart, Faith.
Nothing like football to toughen. Well, yeah, it's a very abusive relationship, but we keep on staying in it, right? So I've got one with Orlando Pirates, and then do you know that I stopped supporting Arsenal when Aubameyang left? Now I don't have a home yet. Like it sounds so weird. I don't have a home yet. And the last time I was like, I'm Arsenal all the way.
No.
And then I thought about it. And then before then I was like, do I want to be Liverpool? Do I want to be
Arsenal?
No,
it doesn't work like that.
I can't be Chelsea though. Because I don't like
Hold on.
I don't know.
It doesn't work like that. What you are assigned to at birth is who you support till you die.
I was assigned Orlando Pirates at birth, right? So there I have to be loyal. Like I'm an Orlando Pirates fan.
And what was the first English team you supported?
My father actually supported Manchester United.
That's it. You're united till the death of you.
And then what happened to Aubameyang? The thing is that, I have a theory.
You can support a player, but still support a team.
You have to go with the team with the cutest people inside. That's how you...
This conversation's over. So Pirates has got the cutest players.
No.
I don't know. There it is, guys. Conclusively, Orlando Pirates have the cutest players. Large.
That one was assigned at birth.
What do you have going on today?
So we got it's Wednesday, so we're going to be focusing a little bit on the entrepreneurial side of life and some of the business developments. First up, and here's the thing also, if you do have a small business or a medium enterprise that you would like us to profile, that you'd like us to talk about, please reach out to us. We really, really want to be able to get as many businesses the necessary scope and the publicity, man, because this stuff helps, and if you've got a small business, let's help you boost it up a little bit. This evening, in fact, we're joined by the CEO of Alpha Drones and Managing Director of Glow Aviation, Jackie Mukubaki. She's with us in the studio. She owns a drone manufacturing business.
Wow, local South African.
Local South African. Amazing. Black woman.
Manufacturing
Black
drones.
woman is manufacturing drones.
Wow.
We're going to talk a little bit about this, and of course, in terms of also just how is it that it works within the aviation space and some of the regulations that are in place. We're also in conversation, as it is Business Wednesday as well, with somebody who's really a big figure when it comes to the private sector environment, chairman of Bidvest Limited, also BUSA president, and the chancellor of a University of the Free State. I'm talking about Professor Bonang Mohale. He's with us in the studio as well. We're going to be talking, reflecting on this 29 years of democracy. We are celebrating or commemorating it tomorrow, but there's so much that we need to unpack from a leadership perspective, as well as the expectations that we have on our leaders. So Professor Bonang Mohale is with us as well. And then, maintaining the theme of business, we're going to talk about the business of terrorism. How South Africa has been used as a funnel or a chain to actually garner illicit funds that fund allegedly terrorism organizations. Terrorism in organizations in Mozambique and Kenya.
Wowee.
How terrorism actually works and how South Africa is playing a role. And I mean, obviously you heard about being grey listed, right?
Yeah.
So this all plays into mind about how are we actually keeping up with some of the illicit financial flows, how terrorism work. That is our business conversation a little bit later on after 8 o'clock.
Reminds me of that very popular documentary by Al Jazeera that's out on YouTube at the moment that everybody's watching.
The Gold Mafia?
The Gold Mafia. You know, it's when you look at what happens when we sleep, it's incredible that, and I repeat, we have no idea what happens in our own lives. It's 4 after the hour 7 from myself and my entire team that included Ben Jacobs all the way in the UK today, Timmy T. Miranda, the producer of the show, tech producer Malcolm Dlovu, as well as imaging by the genius Thabo Nkwala, and the Lights Gang that make sure that you get to see the visuals of this team. We appreciate you. Pella Pella. And it's all me.